Good morning, children. Today, let's discuss the topic disinvestment policies in India, which is in the third chapter of the Indian economics titled Economic Reforms since 1991. The disinvestment program, since it began in the early 1990s, has managed to meet the budgeted targets only thrice, and the best year was 2012-13 when the government raised rupees 23,957 crore from the stake sales. The policy framework in the present scenario is highly consistent with the programs of the disinvestment of the public sector enterprises. It will augment the process of privatization, and the market mechanism is the driver of the economy. Next, we will see what is the meaning of disinvestment. Disinvestment means it is the action of an organization or government selling or liquidating an asset or subsidiary. What it means? That is, the government, what they are doing, they are selling their organization into private investors. So, or liquidating the asset of the subsidiary, or otherwise what they will do, the shares of their government organizations, they will part with the private investors. So, if it is 100%, if it is managed by the government, means the private investors, they will share at least more than 30%. In that manner, it is disinvestment. So, let me define again what is disinvestment means. It implies that the government will sell the part or whole of its holding in public sector enterprises. Privatization with disinvestment. The transfer of the ownership occurs when in an enterprise the dilution of the government ownership is beyond 51%. So, should be more than 51%. Before, which was entirely under the control of the government, or before which was 100%, now after this disinvestment process, the 51% of the share has been sold to the private investors. And let's discuss about the criteria for the disinvestment. The decision regarding the disinvestment or liquidation viewed in the light of the following criteria. Which are they? Whether the objectives of the company are achieved, whether there is decrease in the number of beneficiaries, whether serving the national interest will be affected because of disinvestment, whether private sector can efficiently operate and manage the undertaking, whether the original rate of return targeted could not be possible to achieve, and the last one is whether socio-economic objectives has its purposes also. So, these are the different criteria for the disinvestment. They have to take into account the objectives, whether there is number of beneficiaries are there, whether it is serving the nation, whether the private sectors can efficiently operate and function its management. So, all these criteria they will take into account. And next, we will discuss about the objectives of disinvestment. Which are the different objectives of disinvestment. The first one is to reduce the financial burden on the government. Second one, to improve the public finances. Third one is to introduce competition and market discipline. Fourth one, to increase growth of the firm. Fifth one, to encourage the wider share of the ownership. So, if the disinvestment process happens, it reduces the financial burden on the part of the government. If I told you which were the sick enterprises, which were running under losses, if such a disinvestment process happens, we can induce more and more competition, and thereby we can boost up its productivity, production targets also. Yes, here we can see the background of the disinvestment. What were they? Because before, the Indian economy had virtually embraced the bankruptcy during the period of 1980s to 1990. Because after the great economic depression, the government, the Indian economy, they can't survive. So they borrowed the money and our bankruptcy. That means financially we were indebted to others. There is no money in our economy. So we have to borrow from we know that it is from the World Bank or IMF. We have to borrow money also for our financial purposes. And in 1919, there were 236 operating public sector undertakings, of which only 123 were profit making. Others we can consider as sick units also. The top 20 profit making were responsible for the 80% of the profits. So in general, if we analyze, almost all of the enterprises were running under losses. And we can keep only the strategic or the industries which were very prominent for our economy, such as defense as well as this education, defense, and all these railways we can keep under this government sector only. Even we under the losses, if it is running also, these such strategic industries should be entirely kept under the control of the government. And we can see the 10 years before the privatization, or 10 years in 1990s happened, the privatization of this telecommunications also, that is BSNL. It's a good example for that one. Before it was completely under the government. After this process of privatization, it became the privatized, and almost 60% of the share were allotted to the private investors. Children, next is the video of the disinvestment. You just watch that video, you will get just idea about the disinvestment.
Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said that the government expects to disinvest or sell a stake in 5 PSUs. This strategic disinvestment is expected to help the government meet its divestment target of 1 lakh crore rupees in the current financial year. But what exactly is disinvestment to begin with? Simply put, disinvestment is when an organization or government sells or liquidates an asset or a subsidiary. Disinvestment can be called the opposite of investment, and it consists of turning asset classes into money or cash. So in this case, disinvestment involves the government selling its stake in a public sector undertaking to other market players in that sector. The government can also choose to take the public issue route and list the stock market, or opt for share buybacks and exchange traded funds. Disinvestment is primarily of 3 types: minority, majority, and total. If the government sells a small portion and its stake remains 51% or more, it is a minority disinvestment. Majority disinvestment happens when the government sells off a major stake, and total disinvestment is when 100% control is given to the buyer. So why would the government want to disinvest? Well, over the years, the NDA government has made several PSU disinvestments to raise money. The main motive of disinvestment is that it helps the government make up for its financial burdens. It also helps raise capital to put in other projects. Now, what has the story of disinvestment been in India? Well, the process of first disinvestment started with the economic reforms of 1991-92. As inefficient and loss-making PSUs had become a drag on government's resources, disinvestment got a much-needed boost during the Atal Bihari Vajpayee regime, when Arun Shourie was appointed the Minister for Disinvestments. Major PSUs like Bharat Aluminium Company, Balco, Hindustan Zinc, Indian Petroleum Corporation Limited, and VSNL were given out to private players. The disinvestments have picked up pace under the current government. Recent disinvestments include the listing of IRCTC in the stock market, reducing the government's share to about 87.40%. ONGC's acquisition of HPCL was also another kind of strategic disinvestment. According to a 2018 report by the Department of Investment and Public Asset Management, the Modi government has been responsible for over 2 lakh crore rupees worth of disinvestments. This figure translates to about 58% of all disinvestments since 1991.
So children, you have watched the videos, right? So and you would have got some ideas regarding this privatization of different sectors and when it was privatized, at which type of government also they started this privatization. Next, let us discuss about the methods of the disinvestment. Which are the different methods through the disinvestment process happens. The first one is the strategic sale. You can see that US government, they are giving the control of the internet to ICANN. There what happens? The first process only giving the control to the others. They are not selling anything, just they are giving the control to the others. That is the first method. The second method is the capital market. What happens there? The sale, that is the Steel Authority of India Limited. What they are doing? They are offering the 5% of its stake at rupees 82% per share. So there also what happens? They are also not selling. They are just giving their shares to others. So others can come and buy their shares at rupees 83 per share. That is the second method. Third method is the auction. What is that? The government selling 2G spectrum to the others. So that is also there. What the property is there, they are selling to auction to the others. The last one is, as if I told you, that's entirely, that is they are selling their shares to the private investors, and they are the 25 or 30% means that is entirely will be the control of the private investors. These are the various methods through which they are adopting this disinvestment process also. Understood? Yes. The next one is the reasons for the disinvestment. Which are they? First, they want to meet their deficit, physical deficit. Next one, want to the expansion or diversification of the firm. The third point is to repayment of the government debts. Fourth one is implementation of the government plan. So, these are the different reasons why they have adopted this also. And next, we can see about how the disinvestment helps the government also. Which are the different points? How through the process of the disinvestment, it helps the government to recover their deficit. What does this deficit means? That means the deficit means where the revenue is less than the expenditure. So the first one is it will generate money to reduce the physical deficit. So through the process of disinvestment, they will induce more and more competition, and they can reap more and more profits, and thereby they can just repay their debts also. That is the first point. Second one, they utilize these funds for the welfare of the public. So as if it is the entire responsibility of the government to improve the welfare of the public, isn't it? Yes. Third one is to improve the efficiency and the abilities of the organization. So they can, whatever the sick units are there, they can just invest their money and they can improve their efficiency. The next one is loss-making public sector units will make more and more profits also. Then private sectors have huge money to invest in the infrastructural facilities, because the infrastructure is the core element required for the economic development also. And you have studied different types of infrastructure: social infrastructure, economic infrastructure, what all the infrastructure needed for our country. So all this money they will just use for the development of the infrastructural purpose also. So this is actually what disinvestment. And these are the various ways through the disinvestment process happens also. And next, advantages of the privatization. What are the different advantages of the privatization? First one, privatization also the disinvestment process, isn't it? Through the disinvestment process only we are privatizing this, which one, the government enterprises also. So what are the different advantages of the privatization? First one, they can reduce the economic burden, right? What are the burden in our economy? They can reduce it. And the second one is the increases in the efficiency. Third one is the reduction in the sense of responsibility. Fourth one is scientific management. Fifth one is reduction in political interference. The last point is the encouragement of the new inventions. So, as I told you that bankruptcy can be mitigated by using the revenues they have earned through the disinvestment process also. Second one, that increases in the efficiency, which all units come under the SIC enterprises units. They can just recover their losses and they can improve their efficiency, and the reduction in the sense of the responsibility also. And the scientific management means that is entirely using all the modern tools, equipments as well as sophisticated technology, and thereby they can increases their efficiency, productivity and profitability. And the next point is reduction in the political interference. So that means if it is entirely under the control of the government, the more political interference will be there. So here in the privatization, as it is allotted for the private investors, not that much interference will be there. Then the encouragement of the new inventions. So as if that is modernization of the agriculture we have studied. What they have did, they have introduced modern equipments, machines, as well as what happened, advanced tools, that is sophisticated technologies also used, and thereby they can increase the productivity. So my dear children, I think you have understood, or I hope that you have watched these videos and understood regarding its advantages, regarding its objectives, and what is disinvestment, and how far it has enabled our government to reduce their fiscal deficit. Okay, thank you children.